Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky and today I'm going to be talking about the last 10 palettes I used. Boom. Yes, I am decluttering and I've been going through everything and it excites me on such a grand level. It really does. And it's everything. It's not just makeup, it is absolutely everything. Clothing, household goods. I love it. It's just such a wonderful feeling to slowly get through things and feel the freedom of releasing that load. It excites me. Yay, the little things. That's what lockdown will do to you. So what I've been doing is going through palettes, and some of these I'm going to review a little bit more in depth. So you'll be seeing videos come up. You may see these a couple times actually in a couple of videos because I have a new series coming up and I should be posting that here soon, so it'll make more sense. It's kind of dumb and it makes me laugh. So there you go. What's in the box? Yep, that's the name of it. I swear to God. Because I put things in boxes. Hopefully I'll get it up this week, if not beforehand, so you can enjoy the stupidity. Anyway, so what I did is I took 10 palettes that I wanted to get through for whatever reason, and then I'm going to rank them and decide if I want to keep them or not. So that is the whole purpose of this, and I plan on doing it every time I get through 10 palettes. Now the goal is to use every single color in the palette unless I really am just not drawn to it for whatever reason. Like I don't use blacks. I just don't use blacks. My skin tone, I mean, no. Look at me. No. No, absolutely not. Because it's too much on my skin tone, so I never use them. You know, or if I just, certain things I'm just like, I'm not going to force myself to use something that makes me unhappy. And I think that's what I'm kind of doing this project for, is I was using a lot of products that don't make me happy. So that is not the goal here. So what I'm going to do is go through these one by one and talk about them briefly. I'm not going to do a huge review on them. It's more ranking. I will, for some of these, I will tell you which ones I'm planning on putting a video out. So if you're interested, you can watch for it. Okay, so I started going through my collection. I was looking for a neutral to use, and this one I actually have a review coming out here in the next week or two, and it's called Side by Side by Nabla. Now I used this one, and I'd had it for a while. I used it for a little bit, and then I put it away, and then I came back to it. So you can see it has some love to it. So with this, it looks like it panned. It actually doesn't. It looks like it's panned, but it works just fine. I don't know why it does that, but it does. But you can see that I've used this one quite a bit. I don't want to go too much into it because I do have a review coming up, but I love this palette. If you are looking for a neutral palette, I really think that this one is wonderful. I absolutely love this. The only one I did not use was the black, and honestly the rest of it, this one was a little bit more, another one I didn't use, but the rest I did. This is probably one of the most wonderfully balanced palettes to come out in a while. I just love it. There's like everything for every skin tone. This will work for every skin tone. Hey, you know, if you're deeper, you may not use this color. But if you're of my skin coloring, you're not going to probably use these two colors unless you want a smoky eye. So what I like about it, you know, and there's everything in between. There's something for everyone. It's just a really great neutral palette. It's so smart. It's just so great. I love this palette. Yeah. So this one is definitely not going anywhere. I love this palette. I do eye looks and stuff. You can see it in the video if you're interested. Now, some of these are limited editions, so I'm not going to go too much into them. So this was a palette that I got for free with ColourPop, Take Me Home. I brought this one up a couple times, and every time I look at it, I go, yeah, I'll keep it. Why not? No, I couldn't even use it. I thought about it. I like this color, but I have so many colors like this. It's a dime a dozen, and I just went, why am I keeping this? These are colors I wouldn't use that often because of my skin tone, and then these are just boring as hell. So then I was like, why are you keeping this? What is your reason for this? So, this is boring. This is boring. There's only one shadow that makes me go, ooh, and that's it, and it's boring as hell. So, this one I'm decluttering. Gone. Yep, just like that. Just like that. So the next one is Hello Kitty, and this Hello Kitty and Friends. Yes, and this was the holiday one. Snow Much Fun. And I remember this. The packaging was so cute. I was totally like, oh, this is adorable. I want this. And then I looked at this and I went, these are my colors. This is totally something I would use. Now, I'm not doing a review on this because it was limited edition. I really don't like this. I really didn't like this. This was the only color I liked right here, this beautiful lavender, and this alone is the reason to keep it. I have 5 billion colors like this and I just don't care. This one barely showed up on my eyes. These two were just a disaster. They were so pigmented that when you put them on, they wouldn't even really, you couldn't get them to work. You know, you couldn't blend them out very well. They were just too pigmented. There could be a point where it's just too pigmented. So you can put it on your eye and patch it on if you want a colorful look, but most people aren't going to use this as, for, you know, to blend out. They're just not. You're not going to use this on your crease. So that was really disappointing. It was such a great color, and then I tried to use it as an eyeliner and it just was a mess, and yeah, it just wasn't great. And then these two, this one, like, who is this gonna work on? It's just, I don't know who that's gonna work on. Even me, if I were to blend this out, it's already gone. It's just like, why? It was just so ashy on me. It was ashy on me. Nothing's ashy on me. It's just like, because I'm so pale. It was ashy on me. It's like using flour on my face. It was just terrible. You know, this one didn't fare much better. So in the end, I looked at it and I said, I love this color story. This is such a me color story, but this is the only one I end up liking. So it just, yeah, no. This one's going. I'm going to give it away to a better home. I don't know. It's just, so that one is leaving as well. So then I moved on to this one, and this is the Spectral Palette from Linda Hallberg. Yes. So I don't even know why I picked this up. When I bought it, I was like, why are you buying this? And I knew that other people had reviewed it and said it wasn't that great. It doesn't really, it's not cohesive. You can't make a cohesive look off of this except for these two colors and these two colors, and then you could put this with this, or even the purples, maybe even the green. But what is the purpose of this palette? Huge pans, and the only color that I loved was this blue one. This blue one truly is special. This is the one that I kept it for. I was like, oh, look how special that is. That is just absolutely beautiful. I love this color on so many levels. There we go. You can barely see it. It's just beautiful. But then I realized I rarely wear blues. I don't like blues. They look terrible on me. So then I realized I had Terra Moon's Kosmetics. They have some special shades, and there's one called X-Ray that is almost identical to this. So then I said, if I already have that one, why am I keeping this whole palette? I don't want this whole palette. So I've never used it much. I used this, and I realized I have better elsewhere. I didn't even want to use it. In the end, when I opened it, I remember opening it up going, okay, you're going to use this because it's summertime. And every time it was my time to use this palette, I didn't want to. So if you're having that much of a reaction to something, why are you wasting your time to put it on for video? It just makes no sense. I should never have bought it. It was a waste of money. I'm sure she's a wonderful person. I'm sure other people really love this. But for me, it's just like, why? It just was not a well-planned, cohesive palette. I am decluttering that. It is going away. Now the next one was BH Cosmetics Los Angeles. Again, you could tell I love colors like this, especially for the summer. So I picked this up, I think, for half off. So it was like $7 or something. Really good steal. You know what it is? I just didn't use it. And there's some gorgeous shades in here. So I go back and forth. I really go back and forth. I really love this color. I love a lot of these. They're really beautiful, and I don't want to go against it and keep things if I don't need to. Look at those. Absolutely beautiful. The colors are just gorgeous. But here's the thing with BH Cosmetics. The mattes don't work well on me. There aren't a lot of mattes in here, but every time, well, there are, but every time I use their mattes, I'm just disappointed. Within an hour or two, my oil, because I have very oily skin, breaks through, and then it becomes very shiny. So the mattes become really shiny and just chock full of my oil. I don't have that problem with too many eyeshadows, or it tends to happen at the 4 or 5 hour mark when I use a primer. Within an hour or two, it always happens with BH. Sometimes even when I'm doing it, making the eye look, I can see that it's happening, you know, while I'm doing it. And that just tells me it's just not a good formula for me. I absolutely love their special shades. They're gorgeous. I mean, look at them. They're absolutely beautiful. But this gorgeous orange color, I thought would be this beautiful color, or coral color, tends to be more pink. It just doesn't read like it does here in the palette. And this is beautiful and this is beautiful, but I guarantee in my collection I have them somewhere. So basically, I'm not going to use this. I realize how much I don't like BH Cosmetics mattes. They're just a waste of time for me. They don't work for oily skin like myself. Maybe they do for you. I haven't figured it out. But frankly, life's too short. So I was like, no, I have no interest in this. So that was decluttered as well. Okay, so I know a lot of this is like really negative. It's not negative. It's actually good because it's telling me what I do and do not want. So the next one was MAC. And this was their spring collection that was released. I don't know if I'm going to do a review on this or not, only because it's limited edition and it's been out for a while and I don't think anyone cares. I may still, I don't know. I have pictures from when I was using it. I actually like this one, and I know it got really mixed reviews, and I think part of it is that they're not necessarily the most pigmented, but for somebody of my skin tone, they work. They work really well because they're not overly bold, so I can put a nice hint of color and it's very wearable. Now, if you're somebody that likes bold looks, eye looks, this probably isn't going to be the palette for you because it's not going to give you too much of that unless you really dig in. It's not the most perfect palette for me in that, you know, I can't wear yellows like this. In fact, I wore this yellow one time with this, and I think I put this in the corner and crease, and my friend was just, no, I put this in the below underneath the lash line, and my friend was like, that looks terrible on you. If I have a picture, I'll put it to the side. I think I do. I don't know where it is. I'm pretty sure I do though. My friends were like, you look terrible. They were like, I can't wear yellow. I can't wear blue, and I can't wear yellow eyeshadow. Yellow eyeshadow makes me look bruised or jaundiced. It just doesn't work with my cool tone. So it was one of the worst eye looks. These two gave me some of the worst eye looks I've ever had. And, you know, I've had some doozies. Not a professional makeup artist. No. So these two are a lost cause for me, but if you have warm skin tone or you're good at playing with color and it looks good on your skin tone, these are really cool. But they just didn't work for me. They just didn't work. So I did play with this. I did it under the eye. I don't tend to wear bright colors like this in the crease, but the rest of them worked really well, actually. I was really happy with the rest of these. I think this is a really fun palette. Again, if you have medium skin tones and up, it may be a little bit frustrating because the colors don't necessarily read as well as they should. They're not quite as pigmented as some would probably like. It's okay. It's okay. But if you're paying the kind of price that MAC charges, you're probably not going to want to spend it unless it goes 50% off. Then I could say there you go, because they probably will clearance this out soon. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, like MAC, this is what MAC does. They create some of the most gorgeous freaking packaging, and then you buy it and you're like, what was I thinking? Actually, I like this palette. So, I mean, is it mind-blowing? No, but it's pretty darn good. So the next one, actually, have a review on this one coming up, and it's so Mermaizing. It is so Mermaizing. I'm going to flat out say it. This is from Klarity Kosmetics. Look at this. This is gorgeous. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it because I have a review coming up. You know, it's normal matte shades, 5, and then 5 special shades. The 5 special shades make it worth it alone. This thing is Mermaizing. I'm going to say it right back at you. So this is seriously one of the best palettes that I picked up in the last year. This is hands down one of my favorites and is completely worth the buzz. When it came up at social media, people were like, wow, totally worth it. This thing, if you want some special shades, whew, look how big the pans are. And it was $48. $48. I mean, that's just crazy. It really is. What is that, like $5 a shade? And look at how big the pans are. It's just insane. It is, because a lot of indie brands are charging a ridiculous amount for gorgeous shades that are half this size, And these are just as amazing. I'm actually wearing it today. I'm wearing this color here, and it's just a simple way to add a beautiful pop of color. You know, you can really dress it up or dress it down like I did, and it's just amazing. So when you see some of those indie brands, I'm like, wow, 48 bucks for all these. Now, you're not getting not all these are special shades. It's only 5, but even still, it's under $10 a pop for these beautiful shades, and they're huge pans. Klarity Cosmetics, I have my eye on you. You are fantastic. So, going on to the last 3. This one is Too Faced. That's my jam. I am a sucker for these metal cases. I will buy everything just for these metal cases. I don't care about the jam smell. It does indeed smell like jam, which is a little bit creepy in itself. Now, this is another me palette. I love palettes like this. But then I realized it's the same purple and pink that Too Faced does in every palette. At this point, they're just messing with us. And it's kind of frustrating because why am I paying for the same color in every single palette when I never use it? Barely anyone uses it. So it's like, really? Why am I paying for this? And so I kind of got mad at myself because I'm like, there was no reason for this. So in the end, this purple didn't even work well. It was so stiff and weird when I put it on my eye. It like clung to spots, and I don't even have dry eyes because I'm oily. It just didn't lay down nicely, and then it just didn't look good. I'm not going to do a full review on this just because I think it's still out, but I just don't even want to. I don't know. Maybe I will, but I would just end up tearing it apart because it's really bad. This I just didn't care about. I mean, how often do I wear colors like this? Very rare. The rest of it was just so boring. It's just so pedestrian. I could smell the jam here that I decided that this is going to be decluttered. I have no interest in this. No interest in it. Decluttered. So then, the last 2. This is interesting because I have a review that I made and I'm not sure if I'm going to put it up because these are the Dior Fall Collection, Birds of a Feather. The one that was the most popular is no longer available. It's sold out the 2 times that Dior put it out. Honestly, these are fantastic. I've never used Dior before. I use some of the perfumes, but I've never used the eyeshadow palettes or any kind of makeup. I was so intrigued by both of these. I just felt the color stories are so great. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I was one of the lucky ones to get the one that everybody wanted. Everybody wanted, and that is this one. Oh my God. Yes. So let me just start with this one. This is the one that's more pedestrian in a lot of people's eyes, and it's still available because nobody wanted it, which is sad because I actually think this is a really great palette, really beautiful. This one was disappointing. This one does not work unless you dig into the shade. And I may put the review up. I made it, so why not? And if 2 people look at it, great. It's a little bit old and outdated, but whatever. But the rest of these just work so well. This is just amazing. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, with Klarity Cosmetics, this is $48. This is $65 for the small thing. Again, this is Dior, so you're paying for the name, but you know, the pans are really small. So, you know, you got to kind of weigh things out, but it still was fantastic. And I don't regret it. But this is the most horrible shade. It just does not work. I can't believe with 5 shadows in your Dior, you mess up one of the major ones that could work in the crease. It's garbage. It's just you to dig into it. You dig into it. See how I'm digging into it? The purple came up instead. And then that's all you get. It's just crap. It's just, it's crap. I'm going to say it. And it's kind of unexcusable when you're paying that kind of price. That basically it's totally not worth it. It's that one, they should be giving discounts to people on that one. It's just terrible, terrible. So this one is the one that everybody wanted, and rightfully so. This honestly is one of the most special palettes to come out, and you think it doesn't work together, and all these shades work together. With both these palettes, I wore them for 2 days, and I put every single one of these colors into the look, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, these are just so beautiful. I just honestly, they're just so beautiful. They're not swatching as well. They actually go on the eye better than they do in swatches, is what I found. But I just don't care. They are just so beautiful, you know, and I didn't put the other 2 because, you know, I wasn't going to do that because I'm going to be reviewing them hopefully, but it's just so beautiful. This honestly was such a joy wearing it. I just absolutely loved it. Every time I wore it, I was just so happy. So happy. This is so good. There's not a terrible shadow in the bunch. Not at all. So yeah, those are the 10 shadows that I used this month. So if I was going to rate them, you know what? It's going to be easy because, well, at least here, because these are all being decluttered. 5 palettes. I'm decluttering 5 out of using 10. What is that? First off, what does that say? You know, if you start using your collection, you see what works and what doesn't. And 5 decluttered, boom. Half of the ones that I chose. Is it always going to be like that? Probably not, but it was so easy this time. It was just a no-brainer with these, and I just feel so happy that this much space has been open in my apartment. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so if I was going to rank from 10th best, I like to keep it kind of positive, I would do the Take Me Home by ColourPop just because it is so basic. It's so basic. They tried to sell this to people. Nobody bought it, so they gave it for free. Yeah. Basic. No one cares. The next one would be Hello Kitty Snow Much Fun because again, nobody cares because this is terrible quality. Terrible. It just was not good quality. There was one shadow that I wanted to use. The rest of it was just a mess. It just was not good. If you got it to work for you, fantastic. For me, I couldn't. I didn't want to. I just let it go. So because of the poor quality, great color story, cute packaging, bad quality, that is number 9. Number 8 is That's My Jam. And you know what? Yes, I stick by it. And the reason is because it's just the same old color story and it's not even that well done. The purples aren't that well done. They just were clunky and difficult to work with. And so I just didn't care. Should never have bought it, wasted money. Even for 50% off, it was not worth it. The next one is BH Cosmetics, and that is Los Angeles, and that is in lucky number 7. It's a cute color story, absolutely wonderful, but the mattes leave a lot to be desired for someone with oily skin like myself. They just don't work well no matter how I work with them. I've worked with them for so long and it just doesn't work. So as far as mattes come, I probably won't be buying anything with mattes in it again, but would buy stuff with just special shades because for me it just isn't worth it when those shades I can't even use them. So because of the matte quality, I'm putting it at 7, but the nice shades, the regular shades, you know, like the satin shades, are just really beautiful. So you may want to check it out for that. Or maybe you have better luck than I do. So the Spectral Palette from Linda Hallberg, good quality, excellent quality, but this is not cohesive and most people will not wear these shadows all the time. It's a special special shadows, but you're only going to wear them a few times a year and the pans are way too big. It would have been better to cut it in half and put different shades in there. I just think this kind of got panned and I should have listened to the reviews. It just, good quality, excellent quality product. Poor execution of the colors in that it just didn't make sense. It just it doesn't work together. It's not cohesive and there's just no neutrals or anything to pull it together really. And so in the end, it was just very disappointing. So now, back with the top 5. This is hard because I actually, except for the MAC, so I think you already know where that one's going, the rest of these are really amazing. So this is so hard. So MAC is going to be number 6. Is that right? 6? Yes, 6 is going to be number 6. The packaging is absolutely wonderful. It is a fun way to add color, but only for certain skin tones, which makes it kind of difficult. But for me personally, it works really well. I like this. I don't see myself reaching for it all the time, but I'm happy with it, and the packaging is to die for. It really is freaking fantastic. So that is number 6. After that, this is where it got difficult. And so I went with Dior. And the reason is because here's why. This is absolutely fantastic. I do not regret buying it. My issue is that it's kind of pedestrian. I don't have things actually too much like a few of these, like this purple and this one, but I really love this palette. But it's just kind of, you know, am I going to reach for it every day? Probably not. It doesn't make me go, wow. But I really do love it. And so it definitely deserves to be in the top 5, but it's because the color story just didn't really do a lot for me. So that's going to go there. As far as number 3. So now I'm going to put side by side, and yes, a lot of people are going to say this is basic, and it is very basic, but I think if you're looking for just a regular everyday palette, just a neutral palette that you can use every day if that's your jam, you know, and you work at a place that you can't wear bright colors, I just think this is so good. And it's varied. It is so varied. That's what I love about it for a neutral. People are like, varied, and I'm like, yeah, look at it. You have like these cool tones, you have the warm tones, you have these neutral tones. It's just so well thought out. You can do a nice, just basic look, or you can do a smoky eye look. You can do everything with this palette. Everything. And that's why I love it so much. It's just so versatile. It really is honestly one of the best neutral palettes that I own. Spoiler, that review is coming out. But yeah, that's definitely number 3. The reason why it was put to number 3 was because you have 2 extremely special palettes. This one's difficult because I will put it in order, but I could put these both at the top. But in the end, I ended up putting this as number 2. I fought between that and Dior Birds of a Feather, the really special palette. But in the end, the reason why I put this one here is I will not be using this all the time. And the thing is, 2 of the mattes don't necessarily work that well on my skin tone. You can see that in my review. But the other ones are just gorgeous, but I'm not going to be reaching for it every day. It's not necessarily as versatile as and it's not supposed to be. That's not what this palette is. It's a special palette. But that being said, I love this thing. It should be number 1, but it kept going back and forth. It did nothing wrong except be fabulous. So honestly, if I could do a tie, I would. But just because this inched it out, the Dior palette, and the reason why is because this is actually very versatile. It doesn't look like it when you look at it, but I could wear this every day. I can wear this every day, and it looks good. But it's just, people are going to be afraid by colors like this a lot of the time. But the thing is, they're so luminescent and beautiful that it doesn't look like you're wearing a really bright eye look. It is, but it's done in such a classy way that I guess only Dior can pull off. You know what I mean? It's just beautiful. This palette is absolutely worth it. This is one of the most unique palettes. I've never owned Dior before. I just didn't care. Their stuff bored me. This didn't bore me. This is what wowed me into it. And honestly, if they could pull somebody into it like me who didn't give a crap, that's pretty impressive. So that's why I end up getting the higher score. So in the end, I'm pretty happy because I went through 10 palettes and I had to come up with 10 more. It takes a while. It could take a couple months. But what I like is that in the end, I am keeping 5 palettes. And in the end, I am decluttering 5. Just like that. I am so happy. I'm getting rid of these 5, people. Keeping these, getting rid of these. And I am so happy. So happy. So yeah. So that is my 10, ranking my 10 last palettes. I am so excited. I love this project. I know a lot of people like watching the decluttering ones where you go through everything, and I may do that once I get through my whole collection when I downsize even more. But right now, this is the smartest way for me to start decluttering, is just to actually use them and decide if I want them or not. This is the best option for me, and it's working. So for me, I absolutely love what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it. And then once I get through everything and see what I have, then I can start doing other declutter videos. But that's going to be a long way down the road because I have a lot of palettes, like hundreds. So, you know, it's time to start going through them. And I'm so glad I got through these. I'm so glad. There's 5 less things in the collection. And it may not be like that. Next time I may keep all 10, but still, it doesn't matter. So I am so happy. Let me know if you have your own little project going on. Do you own any of these palettes? Do you think I'm off the mark with my ranking, or you're mad that I'm getting rid of some that you really love? I would love to hear. So until next time, have a fabulous day, my friends.